Supreme Rice. Since the 1930s, supporting Louisiana farmers and communities throughout Louisiana. To find out more, go to supremerice.com. Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live?
Live from Radio Row at Circa here at the in Las Vegas, Nevada, downtown Las Vegas. Radio Row for contest sign-up weekend. It's our second trip over here, and pretty much all of the characters that were here last year from around the country are back here again, right about the same amount. We're going to have the head honcho over here, Derek Stevens of Circa. He'll be with us at 10:15, I believe. 12:15, huh, Max? We got to get Central Time, get adjusted already.
I think that's right. 12:15. I am still in a blur when it comes to time zones. I don't know why.
Yeah, so we arrived late, but we are ready to go today. Got the cappuccino rolling. Yes, indeed. Chris Massero is with us here in person for the next 2 days. Good morning, Chris.
How you doing, guys? Sorry I missed you at Del Mar, so I made up for it by coming out to the home away from home.
Well, at least we got the burger, and the burger and beer joint was good.
Yeah,
what's the name of it?
Rocky's Crown Pub. You can't beat it. Best burger in San Diego. Definitely best burger in Pacific Beach.
Well, flat grill burgers, Max. So you know it. A good beer and Coop loved when the guy was trying to intervene in our conversation. How you handled that very smoothly.
Yeah, we told him to beat it.
Michael Jackson.
Hey, you in the outfield. Wait, see, this is the infield here in the spirit of Skip Bertman, huh? I mean, the guy runs off, so he's telling me, yeah, I like to bet on sports too. I was like, okay, that's fine.
Do it on your own time.
How's traffic coming over, huh? Breeze coming over from the Strip?
You know what? Just a continuation this morning for yesterday's day from hell. Coming down from the Strip today, I must have hit 27 lights, 6 or 7 of them, or like 2-minute waits. Took me like 30 minutes to get down here today, which is usually takes me about 8 minutes. But neither here nor there. We move on, we press on.
The day from hell. Don't tell me you had the San Francisco Giants in a 9-3 lead in the 9th inning.
Yeah, let's begin with all the teams I need for win totals. Red Sox lost, Pirates lost, and I had 4 or 5 games going. One of them did come back. I did have Cleveland, so I can't complain completely.
It's got to be a season-long winning streak, huh?
Yeah,
I'm on them in the division as well.
Yeah, they've won 8 in a row. I was also on the Royals, who had won 9 in a row. I've been riding that streak. They lost. But I had one game that was a sure winner, 9-3 going to the 9th. I'm all set. And I see, how you can see people texting you before they actually text you. It says type in.
Right.
I have a friend, he loves these live things. And I saw him texting me, and I said, don't even say it. Don't even say it. And he goes, what? I go, don't say it, because it's the only game I got winning right now, and it's not even going to win. And sure enough, before they even got an out in the 9th inning, it was tied. How do you
So they tied it with – I saw they took the lead with 1 out.
Yeah, they tied it with no outs, and they still had guys on.
So the first eight batters reached?
Something crazy, yeah. I heard some stats this morning. An 800 – three times in the Reds' history, they're down 9 runs or more. They've come back in like 2,000 games.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, the Giants had never surrendered a lead at home of 6 runs in the 9th inning. So just, baseball, we say it all the time. If you watch it every day, you will see something you've never seen before, and it just keeps on happening. Like that play last week when the Red Sox Blue Jays game where they called it the 5th out or whatever, the 4th out, or the umpire said there was only 2 outs. It was really only 1 out. They tagged up and they didn't throw back the first in time.
That was
18-minute delay. So you just see stuff in baseball, unlike other sports that you'll never see before.
If that rule was executed properly, and they sat there for 10 minutes before, and now we're going to go to New York.
Yeah.
I mean, like, wait, shouldn't you have gone to New York immediately?
Yeah.
But anyway, what was it? Was the Cardinals Reds? It was a day game. and I'm coming out. I think we were at walk-ons that day, Max, and we we're coming back, and I'm listening to Jeff Brantley, on the Cincinnati broadcast. And the third out, I mean, Cincinnati's going to win. I got St. Louis, but the center fielder drops the ball. I mean, flat out, he hit his glove. He dropped it. He was kind of in that little gray area where it's his, he's calling it. It's his ball, but it's still a little timid. It looked like he didn't really rush over, kind of reached for it. Anyway, two more, they wound up scoring 5 more runs. And then Cincinnati in the bottom scores 5 runs.
Yeah,
and they had the bases loaded.
Yeah.
And so the same guy that gave up the bomb in a 6-run Philly ninth, he couldn't throw a strike, and finally he got somebody out. But Brantley, after about 3 batters, goes, "I'm stunned." I mean, he's a really good baseball mind, old bulldog from Mississippi State, and but he was speechless, man.
The Reds bullpen, I mean, the other day, the whole world, and I posted it. I was a sucker too. Everyone, everyone in the world was on Chase Burns, first 5, Reds over Giants. And the first inning, he comes out, and Chase Burns had absolutely nothing. But the reason, the handicap of it was who wants to trust the Reds bullpen, which is just a complete disaster. A lot of these bullpens are pretty bad. I mean, who can you really trust as in the bullpen? The Padres,
your boys have a nice setup at closer.
Padres, Red Sox, and Yankees. That's about it right now for.
And Mason Miller gives up his first home run in over a year.
Yep.
So, but speaking of the Padres, you're from San Diego, and our buddy Skeens, he gave him an extra 3 days before his last. And he didn't pitch terrible, but he walked 4 and 4 1/3 against Detroit. A little bloop single chased him. But this was his best outing in 17 starts in between. He shut out the Rockies for 8 innings at home in PNC in Pittsburgh before. But velocity up just a little bit. I'm from the San Diego because they have played much better. Since the All-Star break, their 3 stars are finally playing close to what they are, especially Jackson. Well, Tatis, too. I mean, those guys were just all slumping. But anything from the Padres' perspective on Skeens' performance and shutting them out? And I think he went 6 or 7.
Listen, I mean,
6 innings, 4 Ks, I think.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
no walks.
The Padres they're one of those teams. They play good at home. They have a huge home field advantage. But they're also a team that can just go into the doldrums and just
Shouldn't they be better?
Well, they should be based on all the money those guys are making. But they have 3 of the worst contracts in the history of baseball. I mean, they got the Machado and Bogaerts are still owed and the way they backloaded those contracts. I mean, Bogaerts is owed over $200 million. Just if you want to have a little chuckle, go Google Manny Machado's contract and see how long it goes. He's 43 years old, and it gets more and more and more and more. And the guy, I mean, give him a little credit. He's battled back. He was at 170 for a good portion of the first half of the season. At least he's got it over 220 now. He's hitting better. The team's playing well. Give him credit. I thought they were going to be sellers. I have a losing bet on them for under. Updated win total at the All-Star break, and they've been hot. So it's good for the city. They got those new crazy owners that came in the other day. I don't know how those people have $4 billion, but apparently, money grows on trees these days. And, hopefully for the city that they, maybe they go on a big run because they spent so much money and they have the, devoted fan base. It'd be nice for them to knock them. Maybe they play the Dodgers in the first round again. Maybe they can knock them off. They had their chance a couple years ago. And Cease couldn't get it done, but we'll see what happens. It's good for the city.
Max, good morning.
Good morning. It's great to be here. On time this year. On time. Last year I got here 36 hours
I booked
late.
Our flights. I booked a direct flight. We arrived early. So,
Good going, Jimmy. No, you've never had any airport issues, have you?
Don't start. We were flying the same airline that we flew out of here. Where they said, no, don't.
Let's not jinx it. Let's not jinx it.
Yeah, please.
We got here perfectly. Very smoothly.
So fill Chris in on what's been the topic of conversation back home, Max. I mean, not a whole lot going on with LSU, with Lane Kiffin and
Macero,
Balky and Willie Wade.
We need you 5 days a week because we're just running out of stuff to talk about back at Baton Rouge. Yeah. I mean, we got to just fill time.
That's good, Max.
I saw a tweet. Somebody, I don't know who it was. Maybe it was Dan Dockage or somebody. He's just the 2 most hated men in college sports are, Wade and Kiffin. And you got them both at the same school.
And Mulkey's not far behind.
So with that new ruling, though, that the Big Ten came out and then the SEC came out, and those guys that they just brought in this week, are they gone now?
So you're talking about the
tight end from the
tight
Browns.
end and the line, in the one for Browns and the Saints.
As
they
of
are
now, they're
still
ineligible.
fighting it individually. It's not on behalf of LSU. So they are still, they're still fighting.
Yeah, but
they're based on this. This is their argument, and I've talked to some attorney indirectly involved, and he said that had they known that they had a chance, they could get a restraining order, a TRO, that they could. I'm messing that up, but anyway, if had they known they could have played through a court injunction, they would have stayed in college as an undrafted player and never signed a free agent contract to go to preseason and go to camp for an NFL team. That's their argument. Now, if that's going to fly, I mean, we've seen worse get through in some of these courts. I mean, the NCAA doesn't exactly have the best winning percentage in the courtroom, but so that's their argument. The thing is that they set themselves up when they went, okay, let's 5 for 5, but this class, man, just do it for one more year. I mean, Max Johnson's in his 7th year starting for Georgia Southern this year.
Yeah, and he's not good.
I mean,
it reminds me a little bit of the Tarek Skubal trade of the Dodgers, where everyone's like, well, how did the Dodgers get him so easily? It's like, did the NCAA want this to go so badly that someone had to step in?
Maybe so.
Conspiracy guys,
and Dan Dockich, I would say this, does he like Matt McMahon as a coach? Yeah, who's that? That's the previous basketball coach who had the worst record in the history of the sport. So he said most hated, not to me.
Yeah.
The most hated is the guy who had the worst record for my alma mater ever.
But you're down there. Obviously, you're rooting for wins and
yes,
all
wins.
the players.
They're paid to win, by the way. Yeah, they're not paid to graduate. I mean, so it's so this just in. They are all.
I just think, I mean, just outside looking in, when you have all these guys coming in and everyone's getting paid, it's just that's not a recipe for. I mean, maybe in like the pro. I mean, I get it. It's like kind of pros in sports now.
It's very much a pro sport.
Okay, but it's there has to be some continuity and some sort of camaraderie, and just bring it in, guys, from all over the place. I just don't. Maybe it's going to work. I don't think it is.
We talked about it, Rohan Davey. We talked about it last week.
Expatriate.
And so on Monday, actually, we talked about it on Monday, and he's got some access to practice, and it was one of the common things as far as this new era of the coach-player relationship is that they're so afraid to coach them because they're going to leave.
Yep.
And Rohan said, I don't know about certain programs, yes, but if you an LSU and guys like Orgeron and some others, they're coaching them. Okay, so maybe it's a status thing. Maybe
well, if you coach them hard, they're going to leave. If they don't get the start, they're going to leave.
They're saying he's saying that they are coaching them hard.
Well,
yeah. So I mean, once the GM handles all that, and once they get into the problem starts when you have one of these characters that wants to renegotiate, like Nico Maliava for Tennessee before the Ohio State playoff game.
Yeah.
Well, no, bro, that's. So.
I'm also fascinated by a player like Donovan Dent, who retired from basketball essentially. He was at UCLA, didn't pursue the draft, and is going. Was set to come to LSU. He did not, go to the pros, so he would be eligible as of now for this LSU team, but he retired. What kind of desire does he have? Is he just taking the money because it's there for him, or does he have the desire to work hard and get back into college basketball? Did he miss the game? That's interesting. It's such a different dynamic than we're used to, where a guy's basically done with basketball and decides, I've got an opportunity to come back and play another year, so now I'm gonna take that.
What classes will he take at LSU?
Dude, that is people are missing a point. That is the biggest positive to come out of this new era. Everybody is smarter. There are no academic suspensions. Zero. I mean, it used to be when, you finish the semester in the second week of December, and we'd wait for the list. Mississippi State's out 5 players for the bowl game. LSU's got 3 down. Kentucky has 4. Florida's got 6.
Oklahoma State's whole offensive line is out.
Oklahoma. Now, nobody is academically ineligible. So it's,
2020 Alabama never had COVID.
The booster says, wait a minute, you suspended the guy I gave, a couple million to? I mean, no, you better find a way to have. So
Crazy world.
yes, it is. But yeah, that's the one thing with Sankey. You talk about college, dude. It is professional sports. Every college sport is a non-salary cap professional sport, and the tennis for the tennis on the but so it's not cool for you to no NBA, but we can take European. Well, they can go older. Well, just because it's in another country. I mean, if you're paid, it is professional. I mean, it's just that simple.
They just need to listen. I'm not trying to be. Hey, listen. No one wants government regulation. I can't stand it. But there needs to be some sort of just some sort of common sense decision where somebody comes in and there's some sort of semblance of rules, because what's going on now is just absurd. I mean, the pro leagues have rules. There needs to be some sort of rules.
You can do it by the conference. If the NCAA is weak, the conference in Sankey finally stepped up. He was sort of reactionary. He just first issued a statement, then it kind of got shown up as far as the football is concerned from the Big Ten, and then he comes back with not only football, but men and women's basketball as well.
Mr. I've got it figured out. We need you to get a law degree, because we've been talking more law in the last
This would be
month.
a dual entry with Ethan in law school?
Yeah, you're going to be our law expert, our sports law expert when it comes to these things. Work on that for next year.
Maxim Nacero, LLC.
We need to take a time out. We're live here at Radio Row in Las Vegas at Circa's contest sign-up weekend. Live at lunch, live from Vegas on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny.
All right, back over here at Radio Row, Jimmy Ott, Max Gotro, Chris Macero, and now we're joined by Paul Stone as well at Paul Stone Sports. Just got done with our first podcast for the college football season. Paul, how you doing?
Doing well. Glad to be here. Exciting time of the year. We got some FCS versus, I guess, FBS games tonight, and then certainly 8 games FBS versus FBS on Saturday. So exciting time of the year. Ready to get talking time over and get playing time started.
We got to lean on Randy McKay a little bit later, the FCS specialist. So, we'll 20 to 25 FCS. So we'll bet the board tonight. So we'll see about it, Chris.
If anyone's going to bet the board, it's the guy sitting to my left. First half, quarter, team total. Hey, Stony Brook, Delaware State is at 3 p.m. today. Any interest in that game?
Stony Brook.
Stony Brook.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
They wrecked house one year at the baseball regional in Baton Rouge.
The early money came in on Delaware State. So
Yes,
I don't know.
The Delaware State they've been fighting an inferiority complex forever for the Blue Hens. They're sort of the little brother to the Blue Hens.
Looking
of
up
the
to
state.
Joe Flacco.
Look, don't you judge, okay? We were sweating a damn Delaware game. They're fumbling at the two multiple times.
That
quarterback
horrible.
So we have. So, Paul, you're the reigning champion on Matt Humans, and Matt comes with, he's on with us every week. Is the basketball contest?
Yeah, we got the 2 champs right now.
That's what I'm saying. We got the 2 reigning champs.
Have you got your trophy yet?
I got my trophy from last year, but I don't have this year's trophy. I think I'm supposed to, or this past year's trophy, so I think I'm supposed to pick that up from Matt today. I know Chris is disappointed. He would like to have both titles.
I blew the basketball.
He wants it all. He's not satisfied unless he has the entire bounty. So I'm hoping he's not going to.
Well, I didn't.
Humans, it's time to pay up. He's conveniently out of the main league.
Yeah, I told him to bring the trophy tomorrow. He will be returning, but I'm still a little ticked off. I forgot to put in you were supposed to pick your champion or whatever. It was like a tiebreaker, and I missed it because it was an email that Matt sent at 3 a.m. That's when he does most of his work. I miss emails at 3 a.m.
Matt Humans, a vampire journalist.
Oh my God, the guy does not sleep.
Paul, college football on the field. We've talked enough of court radio and in Baton Rouge. I mean, is it all in Baton Rouge? It's funny listening to people outside, talk about us. But we in Louisiana, we pride ourselves on being just a little bit different, and we're taking it to the nth degree in our athletic department. But anyway, like Oregon, Notre Dame, the continuity of Texas, who has the most returning starters from their program of value that you really have a shot to make a run this year?
Well, I think certainly you got to start with some of the ones you mentioned. Oregon, has a lot of people back. Notre Dame, I think they've got the best defense returning in college football.
Okay.
9 of their top tacklers, 9 of their top 10 tacklers are returned from 2025. Texas, they fill in their gaps, I think, very masterfully through the transfer portal. They're loaded. Those are 3 that come to mind. Ohio State, maybe not as many returning guys who have showed on the field yet, but they recruit at such a high level. They truly don't rebuild. They simply reload there in Columbus. So those come to mind. I think there's about 6 teams that can win the national championship, those being a few of those. Georgia would be another.
I'm wondering about Georgia because the SEC teams have caught the new era of none of the depth is hanging around. Like when whether it was Georgia or LSU or Alabama, or Florida, that had these super teams that just nobody else outside the conference could compete with. I mean, that don't have those elite. I'm not sure if Georgia is at that level. It's hard to when they were back-to-back champions. Okay, that's a tough level to repeat. I just wonder there's just a little tick off.
What do you think about the schedule though? Georgia's schedule seems to open up pretty nice.
Oh, it's very favorable. For an SEC.
I look at it. I made a couple win total bets this past week. I played them over 9.5. I played them over 10.5. I just think if they can win that Alabama game, I think they could go undefeated. They're sitting kind of pretty.
I think they will have. I think they're considerably better than Alabama. Keelan Russell might be fine. Okay, but he's a freshman. It's just that simple. Okay, what were we talking about? Underwood. At this time last year, they were supposed to be. He was terrible. Because a freshman, he might be good. Winningham, I think, is going to have a good effect on him. But it's just very difficult to put a true freshman.
I'm not at practice. Maybe your son's down there. I know your son's at Alabama. So when we last saw Alabama, they couldn't run the ball more than a half a yard per carry. It was atrocious.
Yeah, no, they're worse.
I've ever seen
the worst rushing game that I've seen. Go back to Bear Bryant days, the whole thing. Even when Francione was there, they could run the ball, and Tyler Watson then. But they brought in a new offensive line coach. They insist that they are going to they're committed to a sort of a power running game. But that's the biggest thing I see, Paul, but difference from Saban to DeBoer, their physicality has really, they're much more finesse.
Yeah, definitely not as physical. And Xavier Crowell, the true freshman, I think in time, he's going to play right off the bat at running back for Alabama. Right. He's a big timer. He looks like a man right out of high school. So they're not going to average maybe 5.5 yards a carry, but they're not going to be below 4 yards per carry on average either. So I think they'll be better in the running game. And I know you talk about it often, Jimmy, and I agree with you totally. A new starter at quarterback, regardless of how uber talented they might be, there's just a learning curve. There's quite a bit of an adjustment, and I know that you oftentimes reference kind of that 20-start threshold. Once they get beyond 20 starts, that's when they really start getting the hang of it and can read defenses, and it all comes natural, and they make better decisions and all those kind of things. But, Alabama definitely, I think the quarterback position will be one to watch. And then, talking about Georgia, as you guys were, certainly they're not as good defensively because you can't just stockpile guys on the defensive line, the front 7, like you could pre-NIL and pre-transfer portal. You just can't get –
Kiffin was trying, but anyway.
Somebody else will pay them. Somebody else is going to pay them more money. They're going to pay them to be a starter more in most cases than you can pay them to be a reserve. But I still think Georgia is a team to be reckoned with. Okay. I think they're going to be better offensively. Love Gunnar Stockton. He might not project as a top NFL prospect, but he's just a gamer.
Yeah.
He's tough. The team rallies around him. They've got a great running game, one of the best running games in all of college football. And they annually, year in and year out, until we're told otherwise or see otherwise on the field, they give up less than 20 points a game on defense. So they play defense.
How about your alma mater? It just seems like most people think this is Arch's last year. There was no rush. It was predictable that he would come back for another year to get those 25 starts, to get to better prepare him. There's no rush. He's getting paid good money. He's got it's a pretty good life to be the BMOC in Austin. But man, Coleman, it just seems like the offensive line is certainly, they think, is going to be better than last year. That was spotty at times last year, but it looks like they're all in for this season.
They are. I mean, the offensive line, though, I'm kind of going to take the Missouri approach.
Okay.
You got to show me before I'm going to believe it, because, they played Georgia 3 times since they joined the SEC, obviously 0-3, and they have not been able to run the football in short yardage situations. They have, in those 3 games, they have not rushed for more than 30, and we subtract sacks, but there hadn't been that many sacks. They have not rushed for over 33 yards in any of those 3 games against Georgia. They have averaged 1.15 yards per carry against Georgia. And, I think their offensive line might be somewhat better, but it has to be championship quality to win a national championship. So that's my biggest question mark. And with that said, I still think they are so loaded at most positions, especially offensively. They are going to be, if that offensive line can play near championship quality with the receivers they have. I mean, everybody talks about Cam Coleman, and he's great, and I think he'll be a great wide receiver 1. Ryan Wingo, I think he'll be a great wide receiver 2. But a guy to remember, if you watch Texas closely this year, is Emmett Mosley. He's a guy who was injured much of last year, transferred in from Stanford as a true freshman at Stanford the last 4 or 5 games. I mean, he just kind of had his coming out party. He is what you call a dog. I mean, he blocks guys off the field into the stands. He's a gamer, a complete player, and they're really talking about him in a big way. Also have Jermaine Bishop, a true freshman who they're going to try to utilize. Not saying he's going to be nearly as good, but utilize in the kind of the method of Malachi Toney last year at Miami, Bishop being the nephew of former Kansas State quarterback Michael Bishop. So I think Texas has got all the ingredients, but for people to say, they got to win it this year, you've been doing this a long time. You got to have a bounce of the ball. I mean, Indiana, as much as I love Kirk Cignetti and the incredible turnaround there, Indiana had some fortuitous
Iowa and Penn State.
I'm not going to call it luck, but they were fortunate to win some games. And again, they were plus 22 in turnovers last year,
yep.
plus 15 the year before. Now they bring in a guy, Josh Hoover from TCU, who turnover has been his lifelong companion. It'll be interesting to see how
we could get some
does
picks
this year.
for both of these guys a little bit later. We're due up for a timeout right now. One of Chris's guys, Smalley, 6-way tie of round 1, about 6 holes through. Hovland, Scott, Fox, Tom Kim, McIntyre, and Smalley in Atlanta. Don't forget our friends at Legacy Title. Chad Reynolds at Legacy Title for all of your real estate closings. 296-0060. Full-service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Fast, friendly, professional service with their great team. Ashley Donald, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt, Marion Haynes, Natalie and Bradford Smith. Buying, building, refinancing. Nobody chooses but you. Choose Chad Reynolds at Legacy Title. 296-0060. We'll go down the street when we come back. Colucci time. They were live at lunch, live at Radio Row in Las Vegas here at Circa.
It's time. It's now Colucci time. Dwayne Colucci is back to give his best picks on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Colucci, what's up, my man? How you doing today?
How you doing, Jimmy Ott? What's going on? What's going on in Baton Rouge?
We're doing fine, man. We are doing fine. Not a whole lot going on now. An attorney says that Greg Sankey is in violation of Louisiana law. So it continues. Paul Stone and Chris Massero with us today as well. And, Chris, I usually hang out with him at Del Mar, and he had to go back to Boston this year. But first of all, do we have any picks either at Saratoga or Del Mar today?
I was just scanning through the racing form at Del Mar. Saratoga, I'm not sure how the weather is going to stay because, in New York City, I'm getting reports that there's a ton of rain and it's been pouring and, on and off. So we got to keep our eye on Saratoga. I get very leery giving out picks when, I know there's going to be some rain. Del Mar, we got the 7th race. The one horse has a very nice shot. Winilka, I believe is the name of the horse. It's Jeff Mullins' horse. Hernandez is JJ is scheduled to ride. The horse ran a beautiful mile last time at Del Mar and is looking to repeat from the rail, tough position, but definitely if anybody could do it, it's Mullins and JJ. So 7th race, number 1 is looking like one of my selections today.
Juan Hernandez might be a little jet lagged. He flew over to Saratoga yesterday riding the feature. Had no luck, and then he's back in Del Mar today. A lot of good work ethic from Juan Hernandez lately. He was over in York last week, riding in a Grade 1 for Wesley Ward.
So yeah, one on the turf at a mile last time, and just going a little bit longer, 8.5 furlongs today. So that was 28 days ago. So Wanika morning line 5-1. All right, Kaluch, we're going to hit that. We got games for real, huh? We got. Over at Caesars at the resort at Summerlin. You guys posting these numbers on these FCS games tonight, or are you seeing any money coming in on the Belichick year 2 out in Dublin, or it's for a little Virginia, NC State as well? What's the handle look like for these games coming up this weekend?
Oh, the handle's very good, Jimmy. I mean, everybody loves college football, and definitely, Caesars has the extensive menu, so everybody is definitely looking. Definitely TCU has been one of the major games. I know that's on Saturday, but you can see the line movement on that. It's just been enormous, up to 9.5. And, it's just a lot of action overall when the college, slate gets going. And like you said, you got these FCS games tonight. You got the Rebels that are at 4.5 over the weekend.
That's
and,
right.
It's just going to be very, very exciting and a great start to the college football season at the resort at Summerlin and Caesars Sports. So, definitely a lot of action. And the preseason slate for the NFL has been excellent. I mean, we've seen a lot of action, and definitely it's been difficult to handicap, on the public, especially that first week. And now the second week was also very difficult. But we'll see how it plays out. The preseason doesn't mean much, but you're seeing a lot of injuries now, Jimmy. They're loading up. There's so many injuries on different teams. He even thought Jamar Chase might have been, out for the season after a little knee jerk there. He's saying he was okay. We'll see how it plays out. But Cincinnati can't afford to lose a weapon like that before the season even starts. And if you've been watching the Hard Knocks with Seattle, a lot of injuries going on there. It's unbelievable how many guys have gotten injured in the preseason and in practice this year.
Paul, we're talking about the coach, Charles Huff, coming over from Southern Miss to Memphis. Memphis takes on UNLV, and UNLV's and Dan Mullins keep just kind of sustaining what Barry Odom has built over in Las Vegas. And so, Memphis is picked to finish second in the American by the media. And, he brought a ton of guys with him from Marshall to Hattiesburg. Now he's going from Hattiesburg to Memphis and bringing a ton of guys as well. And any thoughts on that game?
UNLV's taken the money. They were a smaller favorite and have taken the money there. I've said it the last 2 years and even more so this season. These Group of 4 conferences are crapshoots. They are more difficult from my chair to predict than ever before because there's so much roster turnover. I mean, a lot of these media people, to be blunt about it, they know less than the 4 of us probably do. So they're taking a wilder guess perhaps than we are, and a lot of it's just based on tradition. It's based on the coach and things like that. And these rosters are having such, again, significant turnover that it's hard to get a great feel for it. But
and Kaluch, last year, remember, UNLV barely won their Week 0 game. I mean, it was against, I think, an FCS opponent. And it was not. But Mullen got it straight. Look, nice run the last 3 years. I mean, they were down for so long, but it's pretty obvious every week that you're going to take UNLV money, huh?
Yeah, but the initial reaction here, we opened it, up, I believe, at Caesars at about 6, and now you're sitting at 5.5.
Okay.
A lot of places are sitting at 4.5. So the money isn't getting applied on UNLV, like you said. Memphis definitely was picked at near the top of their conference, and we're getting some good two-way action. Doesn't necessarily mean like the Raiders where you just get, or the Vegas Golden Knights, you're just going to get plied with Raider, Vegas Golden Knight money. Football's a different animal. Everybody has a different opinion, and especially, with college, you're going to get people going both ways, teasing both ways. Definitely a lot of money line parlays. I assume the UNLV money will start to come in late. But, it's been good two-way action so far on this game, on the initial reaction. And I think Chris, even at South Point, opened it at 6.5 and this sitting like at 4.5. So, Caesars has made the adjustments as well as, other properties around town. The initial reaction was definitely to take the points. Now you're starting to see the UNLV money trickle back in.
It was this week last year was Idaho State who led for most of the game, and then UNLV came back to win 38-30. Chris, you don't remember I had that Idaho State plus the money?
Yeah.
Plus the points?
Idaho State, Nicholls State.
Nicholls State was a money line play there.
Misdirection State.
Bet with both hands, huh, Paul?
Absolutely. And I did get, just to be clear, I got way back when the numbers first came out. I think I've got UNLV. I believe I've got them at -3, -115.
Wow. Okay.
At Caesars. They're in the lovely state of Louisiana. I think I paid -115 juice. That was probably back in May, but so that was probably before a lot of stores had their numbers up. But I've got a good number on that game for sure.
Kaluch, you mentioned the money line parlays in college football. What percentage of your handle is on these money line parlays?
Well, this is the first year with Caesar Sports, so,
Okay.
I really don't know as of yet. I got to keep an eye. It's
Okay.
definitely going to be different than what South Point brought to the table, a brick-and-mortar shop as opposed to a major corporation. We will see as we move forward, and definitely I'll give you an update on that, Jimmy.
What are they doing in preseason? I mean, it was only 11 of the 32 starting quarterbacks. We thought that the week 2 of the three-week preseason would be the one they play the starters the most, but 11 of 32. And more popular are these joint practices where they can control it, where they could put a non-contact jersey on their quarterback. So, I know the NFL just basically banned the Pro Bowl game. That's much overdue because at least when we're trying to look at a person's resume, the Pro Bowl appearance, the initial guys as opposed to the Shedeur Sanders of the world, it's a completely different thing. So I'm wondering how much lifespan this preseason has as well. What's been the total? We're heading into the last week of the preseason. Is it down with less starters playing? It seems more than ever.
It affects the handle definitely, and like you said, these scrimmages are where you're seeing the starting frontline starters play because there's no contact. And, definitely it affects the handle. But, you have a lot of pros out there that are still handicapping these games. They just want football action. So, it takes a little hit on the handle. But, like I said, this is my first go-around with Caesar Sports. It really, the mobile app action has been incredible as well as the kiosks. And we'll gauge as we move on. But the preseason definitely, the handle when you're dealing with a corporation has been really, really strong this season thus far.
This is the last year it was on Labor Day night, prime time, that Bill Belichick coached his first game, and the Tar Heels got a 3-and-out to start. They took the ball and went right down the field, 7-0, and reminded me of the Saints' first playoff game. They took a 7-0 lead before they lost 46-7 to the Vikings in the Superdome. But anyway, 48-14 later. Boy, I know it's recency bias, but you got to be getting more TCU money than North Carolina. Some of the action you're taking on that first game, which kicks off 9 a.m. your time.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned, Jimmy, as we started the segue, that the TCU game has been off the hook, definitely one-way action, and definitely the most handle that I've seen so far across the counter here at the resort at Summerlin and at Caesar Sports. And not a lot of faith in Belichick, I'll be honest with you. This is a different Bill Belichick. This is a different, with Lombardi in the offseason, you had some parity now. This is a whole different North Carolina, if you want to call it, a conglomerate, whatever. But, definitely not a lot of people pushing and backing Belichick the way they did with the Patriot days and Tom Brady, a total different roster and totally different scenarios. And, Belichick, his life is under the microscope. So we'll see how it plays out, but I don't think they're going to win a lot of games this year, I'll be honest, guys.
Chris, growing up a Patriots fan and being such a big part, I mean, this guy said, I mean, he would out finesse, the Raiders. He would the Steelers. He would out bully the Rams. I mean, guys, best ever to see him just in his cash grabs. Got to be like, man, what are you doing?
Well, you know what? I think what he did first and foremost was he helped a bunch of his old friends out. In regards to Lombardi, whatever happened, the transgressions this year. But all those guys that he brought in there, they all got some nice chunks of change the last couple of years to whatever their role was down there. He brought his son in, who's also having some issues now with the health scare. Not exactly sure, very vague on what's going on with that. But I'll tell you, Bill Belichick can still coach defense. I mean, as a Patriot fan, we had a lot of frustrations with him on the offensive side of the ball. They've had a lot of different offensive coordinators. The one mainstay was obviously Tom Brady, the greatest of all time, and he elevated that offense to something that sometimes it really wasn't. And a lot of that was personnel. I mean, they never had the star receivers. The one year they had Moss, obviously that awesome season. They didn't cap it off with a Super Bowl victory, but all those other years they had some really middling receivers, and that's kind of the problem now. I still think he can coach defense. I still think they'll have a good defensive side of the ball, but their offense, they don't have any really weapons, and they're recruiting guys from, D2 and FCS and whatever. I just don't think they have the weapons, and they don't have the quarterback and the athlete. So I still think he can coach defense, but this offense is definitely going to struggle.
Well, I just can't. This time next year, I'll be shocked if we're talking about him still being the coach in Chapel Hill. And then before we got to go to break, but Kaluch, the NC State Virginia game, that's one that I like. They're playing this week because originally it was scheduled for Brazil, poor organization there, and now they're in Charlottesville on campus. What kind of action you seeing on NC State Virginia?
We're seeing some steady action. Definitely, it's one of the focal games as well. And, the rescheduling definitely came into play. That and,
Did we lose Colucci? I don't know. Maybe we did. He dropped. We'll take a time out live here at Circa Radio Row for their sign up weekend. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny.
Bobby McIntyre with a lead in early stages here of the Tour Championship. Through 6, he's 3 under. Hovland, Scott, and Kim at 2 under. Fox, Lee, Raper, and Smalley at 1 under. All right, we touched on it, but this was one of your picks this week in the TCU North Carolina game. TCU with that great run to the national championship game where they upset Michigan in the semifinal, got drilled by Georgia. Following up a successful season like that, they had a losing season, but then back-to-back 9-win seasons for Dykes in Fort Worth.
Yeah, TCU was not that long ago, maybe 3 or 4 weeks back, 6.5-point favorite in this game. As Dwayne indicated, a lot of one-way action on the Horned Frogs and some dead. Of course, 7's not a dead number, but 8 and 9 not that significant. But I'm with the masses. I like TCU here, and it's as much as anything, or maybe more than anything, a bet against North Carolina. This is a North Carolina team that went 4-8 last year, and Belichick's first season there in Chapel Hill. I don't see any reason to believe that 2026 is going to be any better than 2025. You've got all the turmoil. GM Michael Lombardi, he's on administrative leave. The defensive coordinator, the coach's son, Steve Belichick, on medical leave. And then Belichick's 25-year-old girlfriend, Jordan Hudson. She's not on either administrative or medical leave. She's still lurking in the background, whatever her role is there with the Tar Heels. But more importantly, the roster, they just hadn't gotten any stronger with Belichick's arrival. When he took that job, I mean, to me, the thought was they have got some boosters. They're going to give him an NIL budget. He's going to be able to bring some dudes in there, and it just hadn't happened. TCU's had their share of distractions. Their free safety they brought in from Louisiana Tech, Jacob Fields, the Defensive Player of the Year last year in Conference USA. He gets dismissed from the team a week or so ago for allegedly assaulting a teammate. Not a good look there, and now the TCU Athletic Department has revoked the credentials of representatives of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram based on their perception of the newspaper's coverage of that alleged assault. So all of the Star-Telegram staff is headed to Dublin, Ireland, but their credentials have been revoked by the TCU athletic department. They have a new AD from Army, and it's just a mess. Hopefully they'll get their credential back and be able to cover the game. But a little bit of turmoil there as well. But I think TCU wins this game by double digits. And, again, I just think North Carolina is going to have another struggle in 2026.
Chris, with one-way traffic, it seems, in this game, if you do like TCU, wouldn't you get it before maybe possibly it goes to 10?
I mean, it's just to chase this right now. It seems pretty high to me. I like I mentioned in the previous segment, I think Belichick can still coach defense. At the end of last season, they were pretty stout defensively. I mean, they had trouble scoring, but they held some teams in check. And I just wouldn't want to lay that many points. I'm not sold on this Jaden Craig. That's his name, right? Jaden Craig.
Correct.
The kid coming from Harvard. He had a bunch of interceptions last year. This is a huge step up in class. I mean, he's going from the Ivy League to the ACC, facing a Bill Belichick defense. You figure, I mean, all this time off. I mean, all the Lombardi and his son stuff aside, he's got to have some sort of scheme to trick this kid in his first start. All the way over an island. I played under 47.5 earlier this week. I think we're down to you could search around and still find 47. I just think it's a dead under game. I don't see UNC moving the ball that much, and you got a new regime with TCU, new quarterback. Just on a road game, there's going to be weather. It's a great field over an island. I remember last year it was kind of a slog type of game too. That Kansas State game. I just feel like it's an under type of game. I know college football you don't want to go under 47, but I just think it sets up nice for an under.
Well, this is a week of ugly offensive football, whether it's week 0, week 1, and again, this is the last of the week 0s. Next year, it will be a full schedule. There's no week 0s. There's no limitations on when people start. So you'll have a 14-week regular season in the college football with 2 byes. But you will have a full weekend. Probably next year we'll have some Thursday night games as well in Division I, not just an FCS menu like we have tonight. But yeah. College athletics moves slowly on progress, if you haven't noticed. So we will, next year again, it will start the weekend before Labor Day weekend. So that's 8 games is better than none, but a full slate is certainly better than 8 subpar games that we have. Live here from Circa, the contest sign-up weekend here in Las Vegas, Nevada, live at lunch at 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny.
Live here at Circus Radio Road, a contest sign-up weekend. We're getting another blurb from our LouisianaSports.net website that we run. Oh, wow. Adam Scott just hit it on a drain cover. So that's
is that good?
I don't think so, but I think he gets a drop, huh? Max is okay. Ask Max.
How about that chip a couple weeks ago? Scotty had the chip and it hit the sprinkler and it went in the water.
It was the only bogey of the day.
Oh, man. I had him that week. It worked out, but that was giving me some tense moments.
What did you get him at?
I got him at 5-1. 5-1 before the tournament. Yeah, I thought it was solid play. VEASAN kept running that clip of Jim Nantz saying, "Hey, I'm not a betting man, but if I was, I would bet Scotty to win this week because he has that competitive fire. He knows he's only won once, and sure enough, he won. And then this week we find out he has foot and mouth disease or whatever.
Wes Reynolds, he's been playing the last 2 weeks, and he's had 2 outrights the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, Wyndham Clark.
So he had, without Scheffler Market, so he had Sungjae Im, and Burns fell apart at the end to allow him to kind of grab that at the wire. And then he had Wyndham Clark last week as well. Both of them, Wyndham Clark won it, so you don't have to share it. But when you're wetting these without, you don't want to get it chopped up. As much, and Im was able to win it solo second.
I had jumped in on McIlroy at plus 200 when I think after the 5th or 6th hole on Sunday, and then he tied it up, and I thought for sure McIlroy was going to win. He missed too many makeable putts, And then, Wyndham Clark just caught fire at the end. But
Wyndham Clark got to like a plus 240, 260
yeah.
at one point live.
Yeah,
But that's a turn. I think he had already caught him.
Yeah.
McElroy,
Yeah, he caught him on the front nine, yeah.
So we'll get Max in here a little bit later as well. Paul, other games that you're looking at on this schedule, I know, these are all D1 matchups because North Dakota State and Sacramento State, this is their first year in Division I. Randy McKay is all fired up for the Bison in North Dakota State. But Sacramento State, they're kind of limping in financially. It's taking its toll on them, and they weren't exactly roster building for it just seems like they're kind of, I don't know, not overly prepared for this jump up in class.
Yeah, their arrival to the FBS level is certainly ahead of schedule, maybe a little bit premature, but, in that game, I think Eastern Michigan, are they 9.5 or 10 market-wide right now? With a total that was 52 a couple of days ago, now up to 54. But I'm going to go against the market here on that total. I like the under 54, and we've talked about the fact that defense is routinely, typically ahead of the offense in the early going. I think defense is more instinctive. Offense takes time to gel with the new parts and the new pieces. And, so I just think it's a game that's going to be low scoring. You look at college football today, and the average total points scored by the teams is right around 52 points. So I looked at the Week 0 and Week 1 games from the previous two seasons, 2024, 2025, and using 52 as a standard, about two-thirds of those games, or maybe a little bit more, I think, had a total points scored of less than 52 points. So I think people should just in general lean towards under in these Week 0 and Week 1 games, specifically looking at this Eastern Michigan Sacramento State game. The side projects a final of about 31-21. I don't see Sacramento State scoring 21 points. I really don't see them scoring 17 points. I think they'll be closer to 2 touchdowns. They return only 1 offensive starter. They have 0 returning starters on the offensive line and only a total of 20 career starts on the offensive line, all of those being in the FCS. And their quarterback's going to be the backup for Fresno last year, Carson Conklin. He threw 96 passes last year, only completed 49% of those, and had a really low putrid yards per attempt average of just 3.7 yards per attempt. The average in college football is a little over 7. So I don't know if he can throw the ball even mid-range passes. So I just don't think Sacramento State's going to score a whole lot of points. Hopefully, from my perspective anyway, Eastern Michigan and Chris Creighton don't get there by themselves or close to get there by themselves. But I like under 54 in Sacramento State's debut FBS game against Eastern Michigan.
That's a 5:30 kickoff Central Time, so 3:30 out here. So we're in Nevada. I can't access the lines for DraftKings, but
DraftKings is at 9.5, 54.5.
So here at Circa, it's 9.5 and 54 even. What does DraftKings have right now on TCU?
TCU.
They're 9.5 minus 15 so here at Circa.
Yeah, they have 9.5 minus 10. It's showing 47.5. I'm not sure if that's
46.5 here at Circa.
Yeah, because every place else is 46.5.
So
South Point at 47.
I mean, Paul, for people maybe wanting to get on North Carolina, do you think it's going to? I mean, it seems like one-way traffic. You don't think that thing's going to get to 10 at one point before kickoff?
If it gets to 10, I think the wise guys, maybe Chris being
one
of those, are going to jump in.
I'll be on North Carolina.
They're going to jump in like Jimmy Ott when the lines come out. Both hands double-fisted, taking out loans, ATMs.
We don't have loans.
Yeah, if it hits 10, Chris and company and some other sharps will hit it hard. I don't think it would stay at 10 long, but it could. I can see it bouncing to 10 and then coming back down.
Chris, what about that? Oh, go ahead, Chris.
I know. I'm just saying, I just can't see a guy coming from Harvard. It's a first year. First time being in a big time. I guess Harvard's pretty, but you're just playing such different level of talent competition.
Yeah.
For them to be laying 10 points against Bill Belichick, it's just I guess, like to Paul's point, it's just a play against how bad North Carolina's been. But if you remember back to the end of last year, he really had the team playing well on the defensive end.
They had the first 5 games were
that
rough,
Syracuse
and then
game,
it was 4 games there where they gave up. It was 10 in regulation to Virginia. It was 10-10 at the end. Remember, he went for 2.
Yeah.
At the end of the.
Didn't he hold Syracuse to a low number?
It was Cal, Virginia, Syracuse, and Stanford.
Yeah.
They averaged. It was 21, 17, 10, and 15.
Yeah.
So that was a little stretch, and then they started getting slayed again. But there was that one little game 6 to game 9. Those 4 games where they were holding. The only thing is, at Syracuse too, they won 27-10. They were a little bit of a team to back at that point, but. And then they gave up 28, 32, and 42 to Wake Forest, Duke, and NC State.
I mean, I'm never looking to lay a bunch of points anyways, but for me, it would be North Carolina or a pass, and I already bet the under. So
what about NC State in Virginia? So Virginia with the first winning season for Tony Elliott, they were favored in the ACC championship game, lost to Duke in overtime, or they probably would have gotten the nod by the selection committee over Miami as the one representative from the ACC. NC State C.J. Bailey has improved his numbers. He started as a freshman. He's got 25 starts. He's 6'6", doesn't run a ton, but he has accounted for 11 touchdowns. This is a guy that LSU's previous staff and Brian Kelly identified he was number 1 on their list to bring in as a transfer quarterback. And Virginia has a lot of experience returning on the offensive line. They had we talked about Pribula and Holstein. I wonder about with such a heated battle, he's splitting up the reps with the ones a lot of camp. So I wonder if that's going to put Pribula behind a little bit. But following success like that, these non-traditional powers that have a really strong year like that out of nowhere for Virginia, I just worry about a little bit of a success hangover. Paul, I'll start with you. Your thoughts on Virginia and NC State?
Well, we saw yesterday that line had been holding steady at 5.5 for some time. Virginia being the home favorite there in Charlottesville. North Carolina State took some money. Line now, Virginia -4. And defensive players usually don't move the needle when it comes to the point spread. But I think that was highly attributed to the anticipated absence of Virginia's top defensive player and one of the top defensive players in the entire ACC, linebacker Cam Robinson, who was the first-team selection last year on the All-ACC team. But I'm kind of like you from a standpoint of coming off that success. I believe it was 11-win season last year. Now they're the favorite. They're playing without their kind of the heartbeat of their team, defensive leader Cam Robinson. I might wait and see if I could get 4.5, but I would tend to lean towards the dog here. I think that seems kind of like the play here.
4 here at Circle. What is it at DraftKings?
DraftKings is sitting at 4 minus 108.
Okay.
I mean, you got some experience in the quarterback position here. Obviously, NC State, and then Virginia with Pribula, who I thought played really well last year before he got hurt. And you mentioned the offensive line of Virginia. So maybe you kind of it would definitely be NC State or pass for me, but maybe you look towards an over as you have a lot of experience in the quarterback position here. You got the good offensive line in Virginia, and with the linebacker being out, maybe it's a recipe for some points. NC State games seemed to, like last year, that defense wasn't very good.
No,
and wasn't very good at all. So I think I might be. I could find myself maybe talking myself into an over here. I haven't played it, but 52.5 at DraftKings, 53.5 some other spots. I like the fact that you have some continuity at NC State, the quarterback position, and I like the way Pribula played last year. Whether he's fully healthy after that leg injury, we'll see tomorrow. But I would lean towards the over, and I would probably take NC State.
Only thing, though, 11 TDs and 10 starts last year for Missouri is not a ton, and 9 interceptions.
Well, he was hurt half the year.
He first gained headlines when he was the backup for Penn State and transferred before the playoff games, if you remember. And he came in that year and won a game. I want to say it was a road game, maybe Northwestern or something. But he came in and helped them win one of those games when that was the year Penn State lost in the playoffs to Notre Dame down in Miami, where Drew Aller threw across his body across the field to set up the game-winning field goal. But just limited playing time with Penn State his freshman and sophomore year. So this is his fourth year with Missouri. But more a guy that trusts his legs, I think, more than his arm. He's kind of quick to, one look and kind of tuck it and run a little bit. He's tough, but I'm a little surprised that he beat out Holstein. So.
I am as well. I think they're both talented, and again, I'm surprised they both went to the same school. But I thought Holstein might be a little bit more of a complete quarterback, give them a little bit more of a vertical passing threat, if you will. So, yeah, but it'll be interesting. I would be surprised if Eli Holstein didn't play. I don't think he's going to sit on the bench. I don't think it's going to be your traditional starter and backup relationship where the backup doesn't see any time.
I know Chris, our buddy Matt Humans, likes to go against maybe win totals of teams that have years exceed expectations of previous season, like a Virginia. Here's a poster child for it, that angle.
Virginia had some lucky wins last year too. I mean, some miracle wins. So I mean, that.
Well, they stopped at North Carolina. We talked about one of them, North Carolina.
Yeah.
They stopped a 2-point conversion.
There was that other
about
one,
a foot away.
That other crazy comeback where they walked it off, and the crowd storm, the field storm happened immediately. I remember
that was Florida. No, that was Florida State. Yeah.
Yeah. The immediate crowd storm. Yes. That was the Friday night game. That was one of the better games of the season.
They won. That was a Friday night game. They won in overtime. They won in overtime the next week at Louisville. They beat Washington State 22-20. And beat North Carolina under 2 points. That's 4 in a row. Overtime, 2-1.
Yeah.
Was a margin of victory. So,
yeah.
The next year they said it kind of even.
Luck. A little bit of cluster luck there.
And I would say, too, the game that you mentioned from 2024, Prbula came in against Wisconsin, and Penn State won that game 28-13.
Wisconsin,
he was 11 of 13 for 98 yards, threw for 1 touchdown, rushed for another 28 yards. So he had a good showing in that game, relieving Aller.
If your homeowners association requires wood windows like mine, you got to call our friends at Relief Windows. Look, man, it's not cheap, so do it right the first time. These wooden windows, combination of really look good. They're functional and they're built to last, especially with the extreme South Louisiana weather conditions. High-tech energy efficiency for all climate zones. They're built with Arlast wood. Jeld wood windows come with a 20-year general warranty and a lifetime limited warranty against rot and termites. I have a couple of windows from Relief Windows, doing a door right now as well. Do it right the first time. Call them up at 288-8138, 288-8138. Check out all of our inventory at reliefwindows.com. All right, Derek Stevens will be come back here live from Radio Row and Circa for their contest sign-up weekend at Radio Row. Live at lunch, live from Vegas, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny.
Over here again at Circa, it's at Radio Row, the Circa contest sign-up weekend. Again, back here for year number 2, and so we're glad to be here. Now, Derek Stevens, head honcho over here at Circa, joins us again. Last time we saw it was about 4,000 people running around the pool wearing purple and gold, huh?
That's right, boy. We loved LSU in Vegas. That was terrific. I'd be an advocate of doing that every year.
Look, we're game. So, are there any non-conference college football games at the Raider Stadium this year?
Yeah, the Convention Visitors Authority did a deal that there's 2 games non-conference every year on a 5-year deal. So, I think that starts up next season.
Okay.
But yeah, so this actually, I think it's this weekend. UNLV plays home to Memphis.
Yes.
That's not the type of deal we're talking about with SEC teams, Big Ten teams. But I know there's that's all in the mix over the next 5 years here in Vegas.
Yeah, well, once upon a time, Las Vegas, they didn't want to touch it as far as some of the college athletes. Now we get the Final Four, national championship games, Super Bowls, the draft. I mean, it's Major League Baseball is coming just around the corner, so it's it's once they broke through, to give I guess the Raiders or maybe the hockey team.
It was a hockey team. Hockey team really blew everybody away because the hockey team what they sold out every regular season game from day one, and after about 3 years, everybody's like, oh my God. This is actually pretty good sports town.
What about the run for the Golden Knights for being such a new kid on the block? I mean,
Right.
are the fans getting here a little spoiled? I mean, you guys have some great watch parties out by the pool as well. I see some of the video.
Yeah, I grew up in Detroit, Jimmy, and I had a run in me as a Detroit Red Wing fan. About, 20 years in a row they made the playoffs? I didn't even know what it was like not to make the playoffs.
There you go.
And then what happened was last season, 11 straight years? They went from making the playoffs like 20 or 21 times in a row.
11,
to 11. I think it's 11 straight years not making the playoffs. Now, ironically, I moved out here and the Golden Knights came in. This is going into year 10. And they made the playoffs, 8 out of the 9 years so far? So I do think in Las Vegas that the Las Vegas fans have an assumption that the Golden Knights make the playoffs.
So Randy McKay comes on with us weekly. Right now we're previewing different NFL teams. In this past week, or yesterday, we previewed your other team, and that's the Lions. And one of the big questions was, that NFC Championship game with the over-aggression, with the game management by Campbell. But has that window, the offensive line was really good. You talked about that year. Man, the schedule's going to be tougher the next year. They get housed by Washington. Jaden Daniels went nuts that game and then don't even make the – is that window of opportunity passed by the Lions? What you thinking?
I don't think so. I mean, I think, with them 17 points up at halftime in the NFC Championship game and then falling apart against San Francisco, that had a big impact. But – what happened the following year? You got the two-team parlay of what you don't want to have. You got the first place schedule and you got a lot of injuries.
Chris, we our buddy Charlie,
you were at that game, right?
Yeah. You went to San Francisco for the game.
We rented a plane. We flew like 30 people out there, all wearing a Honolulu blue.
Brutal. That must have been so. That flight back must have been brutal.
I mean, the early part of the game, they were ready to play, man. I mean, Gibbs and Williams were busting off big chunk plays, man. I mean, ready to play. That's a tough one. Charlie, I was watching that NFC Championship. We had a little cookout down in Louisiana, and he had the Lions that game, and they kept going for it. Because San Francisco actually was covering for a little bit late in the game, but he was going bananas during that game.
I watched that game with Matt Humans at my house, and we were just astonished how it worked. I mean, I needed San Francisco, no offense, but I mean, it was a miracle that they won, and just kind of tragic for the Lions that they kind of blew it.
It was tragic for the Lions. I mean, it was tragic. It was tragic for us too because we had every Detroit fan coming to Vegas and wanted to stay at our place. But then you look at the 2025 season and you got that first place schedule. Then all of a sudden you have a little regression to the mean on injuries. This year,
better schedule.
This year the pendulum swung back.
Yeah.
I love the Lions over 10.5 wins this year. Okay. Absolutely love the Lions. Look at the schedule. The 3 schedule games on the schedule matchups. This is perfect. So I think the Lions have that window is not closed. I mean, you still got Jared Goff. You got Gibbs ready to go. You got Jamison Williams. They signed him up. So another big chunk play guy. You've got a lot of guys signed here. So I think this window is open right now. The big question is going to be the secondary and how's the defense going to hold up. That's really the big question.
Yeah. So Millions, Survivor, Grandissimo. Grandissimo was first year last year, right?
Correct.
What's your kind of after year one? Where is that where you want it to be?
I thought if we could get 15 people, we could cover the $1.5 million we guaranteed last year. And then all of a sudden, 69 people came in.
Nice.
$6.9 million and the $100,000 entry fee, and people loved it. To my knowledge, almost all of them are coming back, and we've already had about 10 or 12 brand new people participating. So I think it's going to grow. Circus Survivor. Last year we guaranteed $15 million, ended up at 18.7. We felt comfortable enough to up the guarantee to $20 million, and man, we're pacing. We're going to blow that away. So that's going to be really something. And remember, because we take no rake, all the money goes back into the pot for the players to win. And then Circa Million, the typical handicapping contest where you pick 5. We guaranteed $6 million. We're on pace to hit it. I think that's the one contest where there's a lot of value this year. We upped the ability on entries from 5 to 10, so I think we'll get to that $6 million. But 126 ways to win. I think Circa Million is there's a lot of value in that.
Well,
in that
we come
contest.
up here, and some guys want to put up 1,000, some 500, or a few hundred, and so it's everybody wants a piece of it though. A little bit, we're doing a Survivor, doing plenty of those this weekend as well. We're in SEC country, college football. Is there any thought about doing a college contest?
You know what? No. I just tell you, no. I
plane is full.
I would tell you, the one thing a lot of people don't understand is it takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of time, and a lot of effort to run these contests. And my goal is to take the contests we have in Circus Survivor and not cannibalize it. I want to grow it. I want to grow that number as much as we can. We do it without taking a rake, which is pretty special.
Right.
This weekend, have a chance to see you. You've done Radio Row here before.
Mm-hmm.
This is pretty amazing. I never dreamed 7 years ago when we started doing this that this would turn into a late August pilgrimage to Las Vegas. And that it is. I mean, tonight, opening cocktail party at Bar Canada is going to be unbelievable. I think I just want to focus on what we're doing with the NFL and really try to grow these into some real big numbers.
We just had a celebration of life. We think is the best coach in the history of college baseball. He won 5 national titles with LSU. Skip Bertman, who did this radio show with Charlie and myself for a couple of years as well, and so a lot of ex-players showing their respects this past year. One year, I opened up my window here at Circa, and they're replaying the Hold the Rope thing on the big screen at Circa, the pool. It was early in the morning. I said, Skip, you're big in Vegas too, baby. So you are a big fan of Omaha in the College World Series. Where are we as far as our menu? Went for during the regular season, during the postseason. Postseason's so fun, man, and to see those on-campus atmospheres is really fun. But
we at Circus Sports, we just got to get better. We have to have a bigger menu. We have to cover more college baseball games. But we've developed the right team. We've picked up a couple of very knowledgeable baseball people through some changes happening in the market here, Westgate and others. So we're gonna have a bigger menu for college baseball next year. And I think college baseball might have a unique opportunity. Particularly Major League Baseball can't figure out what they're doing next year. College baseball is going to take the forefront, so the door may be open. Talking about LSU, I got a new participant in all of our football contests here coming up. He's coming into town next Friday. LSU alumni DJ LeMahieu.
Oh, okay.
He's flying in with our whole crew. He lives in Detroit. He's got a new youth organization. He just won. His team won the Northwoods League. He bought a team in Detroit. He won his Leprechaun team. It's all college kids. Uh-huh. It's first, second year college kids, a summer league team, and his team they're modeling it after pro baseball. You buy a franchise. He developed it. He's a coach. He's on the buses, and they won their summer league. And DJ's coming out with a bunch of his buddies here to get in our football contest.
Part of the 2000 national championship team at LSU. And Chris, a great trivia question. DJ LeMahieu, maybe the only or one batting title in both leagues.
I think that is correct.
Is it one other?
Of the guys.
Yeah.
Maybe did Rod Carew play in both leagues? No.
Minnesota forever, and then Angels American League. So
sitting at his desk. He is such a humble guy. Sitting at his desk. Look at a little table like this. He's got his 2 batting title trophies just sitting there. He's got papers all over the place. All that just sitting there. He's a really incredible guy.
Quick question. I'm not sure if we have time for the full answer, but. You're a huge baseball guy. You've had the affiliation with the A's before. They're coming to town. They're building a stadium. There's all sorts of question marks of who's financing it, what casino is going to be involved, the Bally's people running out of money. Is there any possibility that Circa could get involved? And I don't know what the involvement would be, but I just know you've had the relationship in the past, and I'm sure you're probably biting to, sniffing around, being a huge baseball fan that you are. Is there any possibility that Circa might play a bigger role in the A's now that they're coming to town?
Yes.
Good. I like that answer. That's the answer I was hoping for.
I will tell you. I'll tell you. We'll have an announcement September 17th.
Yeah, I had a feeling. I didn't even know.
Yeah, no. There's definitely been an issue in Las Vegas about the surrounding area.
Correct. Yeah.
With what Bally's has going, there's no issue with regard to the stadium. There's no issue with regard to the team.
But what's going on?
I'm pretty tight with Mark Bedane, who is their president, and John Fisher, the A's owner. We're going to have a little announcement in a couple weeks. They're going to start rolling out all their founding partners and things like that, and we're very excited to be a part of it. Obviously, with Circuit being so sports forward, we wanted to be a big part of the A's coming here, and I think baseball is going to have such a massive impact on Las Vegas.
Okay.
Obviously, the quantity of games is something, but I think it'll have a bigger impact, actually, than the Raiders. And the reason I say that, Raiders are going to have 9 home games in the fall when it's always busy. You got 81 home games. You think about every year. The St. Louis Cardinals fans, they're going to make their trek to Vegas. The Cubs,
year.
White Sox, Yankees, Atlanta Braves, they're all coming to Vegas. They all want to go visit. I guess we got to go. But hey, great to talk to you guys.
You've been working out, man. You look great. You're looking good, baby.
I appreciate it. I'm ready to go. I'll see you guys at the cocktail party tonight.
100%.
We will be there.
All right.
Thank you, Derek.
Thanks a lot.
Derek.
Hey,
Appreciate it, man. Derek Stevens, owner, CEO over here at Circle. We'll take a timeout. Continue. Max jumps back in with us. Give us a golf update. Live at Radio Row. Live at lunch. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny.
Live here in Las Vegas, downtown Las Vegas, here at Circus Radio Row for their contest weekend, contest sign-up weekend. Maxo, give us an update from Atlanta in the golf.
Yeah, Tour Championship just getting underway. Some players just hitting the back 9. Not a ton of separation right now from first to last place. There's only 5-stroke difference, so they're playing a very difficult course, a little conservative. Nobody wants to play their way out of the tournament yet. I mentioned last place. That's Rory McIlroy, who's 1 over through 3 holes, so he is not out of the tournament yet. But he is alone as an over par player at this point. We're going to see Scotty Scheffler and Matt Fitzpatrick are the last group go off at that's about 30 minutes from now. I'm trying to translate to Central Time. That's 3 o'clock Central, I believe, as it looks like we are in 1 o'clock Pacific Time. So there you go. We do have one player that has worked his way out of the tournament. That's J.J. Spawn, who withdrew after he was playing the 5th hole, withdrew with a shoulder injury. So he's going to come in last place. I think he gets a crisp check of $355,000 for coming in last this week. But nevertheless, he is going to finish 30th in the Tour Championship this week. The leader right now is alone at 4 under par. That's Victor Hovland, who is putting the lights out, and he he just missed about a 7-footer for another birdie on 10, but he made a stretch of 3 straight birdies from 6 through 8. Pretty impressive stuff from him so far. So he is one-shot lead right now over Robert McIntyre and Min-Woo Lee. So our consensus pick was sort of. We gave out Patrick Cantlay. He is 1 under par through 6 holes, so decent start for him. Birdied the par 5 6th hole, and he is in play right now on the 7th.
Chris, Major League Baseball, Rockies and Nationals are underway at the end of one in D.C. It is the Nationals with a 2-0 lead. Orioles, Cardinals. Orioles looking for a road sweep. Limited schedule today on getaway day. Any action in Major League Baseball today?
Yeah, one game that I played later tonight. Kansas City, Toronto. Now, Kansas City, I was riding them for the past week. Had them yesterday. They finally lost. And usually a team after a big winning streak, they won 9 in a row. I'd say 9 times, it feels like it. 9 times out of 10, they lose that game, then they lose the next game. So I just feel like I'm gonna lay a short number with Toronto. I didn't even have to lay anything last night.
Who's pitching?
It's Arrighetti versus Cameron. I know Cameron's been
pretty good.
He's been good. I know he's been good of late, but it's just one of those things. It's like the travel on Sunday, the Malinsky special. If a team wins 9 in a row, they lose a game, they seem to lose the next game. I'm just gonna ride with Toronto at home. I think it's -103. You can probably find even somewhere.
Well, we're getting Bobby Witt Jr. back from the IL, Pasquantino back from the IL, and then Jack Caglianone's breakthrough as a young player. All of a sudden, a team that really couldn't score at all is I mean, their lineup has been. You've seen a big increase in offensive production.
Well, people thought they were going to have a breakout season, and it's just been same old Royals. So a little too late for the Royals this year. And after that big long winning streak, I'm gonna go with Toronto tonight.
Staying away from the Giants today, the Diamondbacks Giants.
I have PTSD from the Giants game yesterday. And like I said, yesterday was a rough day for me. A couple of my future teams that I need to win lost. That Giants game was brutal. Anyone that follows me on X saw the $36 2 slices of pizza situation. It's just been yesterday wasn't my day.
$36 for two
slices. So yesterday,
fill us in on this.
So yesterday, I like pizza, so I'm like, but Buddy V has had a restaurant in the Venetian for years. They have him so at Caesar's Palace they have this food court called Celebrity Food Court. I put celebrity in air quotes. There's a few guys that I've heard of, but Buddy V I wouldn't consider a celebrity. Anyways, Buddy V's Pizzeria, and I'm like, I love pizza. I'm gonna try a different pizza that I've never had before. So I'm go up there, order 2 slices of pizza, a cheese, and a meat lovers, Diet Pepsi in a fountain drink paper cup. She puts the 2 slices in the oven for what seemed like 5 minutes. And then she comes over to ring up my thing, and it was $35.73. And, I just paid it. I didn't say anything, but I was just like shock and awe at that moment. So I'm figuring I'm not going to complain until I eat the pizza. So the pizza comes out, and you figure it was just in an oven for 5 minutes. It's going to have some heat or, crust or some crisp. It was just slop. It was just slop. So that's
room temperatures.
Yeah, no, it was just a sloppy mess. If it wasn't good, and and when it's not good, and I pay for something that's not good, I'm going to let myself, express my feelings, and that's when we go to the old X machine.
Sam Burns is underway. The first 10 feet 10 inches. He knocks down the putt, so he pars the first hole. He's paired with Colin Morikawa today. Your thoughts on Sam Max this weekend?
I bet him. I bet him outright. So if you can get on him now, he's probably a slightly better price than I got him just because he parred the first hole and they're underway. But I like Sam Burns a lot. Bermuda greens, he's been hitting the ball exceptionally well. Maybe he breaks through like Tommy Fleetwood did last year where he hadn't won in a while or finally wins the Tour Championship.
The problem with Sam Burns is he has to play on Sunday, and he has zero chance to win on Sunday.
That's not true.
He is a total... Dude, come on.
He struggled. He's had a struggle.
2 weeks ago, whatever it was. That was embarrassing.
He shot 65 in the final round of the U.S. Open.
Yes.
And made a charge.
He's obviously a good player. I just don't think he
could do it.
He doesn't have the mental fortitude. I don't believe.
5-time Tour winner. Come
on,
Chris.
I don't know. Maybe. Hopefully, you know what?
He has been in position. It's fair, It's
fair to criticize.
He's not closed
Sunday,
well.
It's been bad.
No, it's his best. It's his best year of his career. Most money earned. I think he's number 6 in money earned. But he has been in position, and he has not finished.
He's fell on his face in a couple big events down the stretch on a Sunday, but. He fought and clawed at the U.S. Open as well, so I think everyone kind of forgets that.
What was the most recent? He just
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. It was the first round of the.
Scheffler ended up winning by 8, but Burns was in the mix. He was 2 back, and he was evaporated pretty quickly on that final round.
Yeah.
Chris, on this UNLV game, seemed like it's. The public's all over the Running Rebels, huh? Am I wrong on that?
Yeah, it seems like a lot. And Paul said he got a good number. I'm not involved in the game. This UNLV situation with Dan Mullen, I don't know. It's just not a team I get involved with too much. I'm not playing the game, but it does seem a lot because Memphis always has a quality squad every year. Is able to put up a lot of points, and I'm always looking for the points. I'm an underdog player, so I'd be on Memphis or pass.
At least they do stagger. It's a doubleheader on ESPN. The two best matchups with North Carolina and TCU, 11 a.m. Baton Rouge time, and then 2:30 for the NC State Virginia game. Slipping in between there, NBC will broadcast the San Jose State USC game. That'll be at 2 p.m. Baton Rouge time, noon out here. In Las Vegas.
The folks want to know, Jimmy, what will you be doing tonight at the hometown game, the Mississippi Valley State versus Nicholls State?
Oh, Nicholls. Nickel State. Yeah, Colonels, baby.
You going to lay the lumber?
Yes. It was,
4 touchdowns.
is that what they're laying?
28.5.
Mississippi Valley State's they're rough.
20.
Jerry Rice is not walking through that door.
I did a game, a college basketball game at Mississippi Valley State, and I'm setting up early for, the equipment, and there's like a little trophy area, and they had like an old just newspaper clipping of Jerry Rice. I was like, this is what we have? I mean, it's Jerry Rice. I mean, it's kind of got like some sun stains, just turning yellow and brownish.
Should be a statue out front. Come on.
Yes. I mean, it was in the era of let's erect a statue for everything. I mean, he should be. But I don't know. So we'll have to see about
Southeastern laying 24.5 at 6 o'clock, hosting Houston Christian tonight. So there's your 2 Louisiana games.
Jimmy will have action on these games.
I'd like to bet the sweeps. I'm going to take with Baltimore. I mean, the bats have been popping pretty good.
Alonzo on fire.
On
fire.
Yeah, he is mashing right now. So I'm going to get on the O's against the Battle of the Birds in St. Louis under the arches.
Massaro, let's assume you didn't have any bet on the AL West right now, any future. It's pretty tight right now. You got Astros are plus 145. They have a 1-game lead, I believe. And then the Rangers and Mariners are both at plus 215.
No, Texas still has a half-game lead over Houston, right? They all lost. All 3 teams, Seattle, Houston, and Texas.
Yeah, I mean, with no bet.
Oh, no, Houston's got a half-game lead.
Yeah.
Half-game lead, 2.5 over Seattle.
For as abysmal as they've been all year, just based on the schedule coming up, all those games versus the Angels and Colorado and whoever else is another terrible team that they play, you have to kind of go with Seattle. The dumper is finally hitting. But geez, they just can't sustain anything positive. I mean, the fact that they lost that game again. I mean, it was a 22-3 game, a 19-0 game. It's just been a house of horrors all year for the Mariners. I mean, they have the players, they have the good pitching, but it's just what a disaster division. I do actually have a bet on there. I have the Astros not to make the playoffs. So. Whatever, if Texas or Seattle can beat them out, that'd be great for me.
You want fewer AC breakdowns, lower energy bills, and year-round peace of mind? Join the Total Maintenance Membership Program. Just call us up at 480-0007, 480-0007. Regular maintenance keeps your system running efficiently, lowering your monthly bills while catching problems before they become costly repairs. Ask about our Elite Membership Program, $200 signing bonus if you call 480-0007 right now, and half of your membership fee goes to your TM Bucks at credit, so when it is time to replace equipment, you're not hit with that big ticket. Again, total maintenance in their membership programs, especially the Elite Membership Program, 480-0007. That's 480-0007 and tm-ac.com. We'll come back and wrap up things here live from Radio Row, downtown Las Vegas. The Circa Contest Sign-Up Weekend. Live at lunch, live at Circa, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge Center.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny.
Live at lunch back here at Circa Ultimate Contest Weekend alongside Mr. Chris Massaro, who's going to be joining us live for your 11:15 spot tomorrow, right? Except you're going to be there for all show.
Yeah, you got me for the whole spot,
but,
11 to 1.
In person, that'll be good.
I might bring a lunch just to make it like back home, like you guys have the we have to keep the live at lunch motif going. I'm not sure what I'm going to bring, but it'll be breakfast, but maybe I'll bring something.
Paul Stone as well. Paul, I'm interested in your thoughts on this LSU team this year. They're kind of the expectation with all the money they spent. One of the more expensive rosters in the country this year is playoffs or bust. At least that's what fans back home are believing. What do you think about this team? How do they rank in terms of the SEC, and what is it? A rather interestingly, I would say, competitive top of the conference this year.
Yeah, I'm bullish on LSU. I mean, in the old days when teams assimilated so many new pieces and parts, it seemed to take a little while to get it all together. But, now it seems like teams can, mesh and gain cohesion pretty quickly. So, to me, it's just an interesting, intriguing element of today's college football, the era of the transfer portal and NIL and everything. But LSU has got a great roster. You've added I think people are going to talk about Sam Leavitt, and they should. The quarterback's going to get the most attention. And first of all, on Mr. Leavitt, he had a Liz Frank injury last year that limited him to, I believe, 7 games there at Arizona State. So you've certainly got the injury concerns there. They've got a couple of backups, though, who have some talent if they did have to get pressed into action. But I think the portal additions, the defensive end from the state of Texas, Princely, can you pronounce his last name?
Ellen. I think I finally got it.
I was just going to see if you could do it. I didn't want to show you up, but I really can't pronounce it. But from Ole Miss, a big get there, a guy from the edge who's one of the very best at his position in all of college football, and several other guys, secondary, really bolstered. I just think this is an LSU team where the sky's the limit. I think the running game will be better. Don't seem to have any glaring weaknesses. So if Leavitt can stay healthy, I could see this team making the playoff, and who knows from there.
I look at it, Chris, and the schedule is a little bit intimidating, I think, from an LSU perspective, just because you have a couple of stretches where you have back-to-back or 2 straight or 3 straight games that are really difficult, and it'd be hard to go undefeated through that stretch. September, you go at Ole Miss. That's the circled calendar game for Ole Miss for sure, but LSU will certainly want to steal one there, and then you follow it up with Texas A&M coming to town. That's a really tough stretch there. In November, you go Bama, Texas, at Tennessee. That's another tough stretch. So when you look at the schedule, does that intimidate you a little bit when it comes to this LSU team making the playoff or something like that?
Yeah, I mean that late November, that late November stretch, or mid-November, November 7th, 14th, 21st. I mean that is murderer's row. 2 tough games, Bama, Texas. Granted, they're at home, but then you got to flip around and go to Tennessee the following week. You got to figure they got to beat Clemson. That's an obvious. The Ole Miss game, that's the bullseye game, and like you mentioned, Texas A&M. It's definitely a tough schedule. You figure they should get the rest of the games. They should get the wins. Auburn's supposed to be better this year. That's another tough road game. So you could say four games from October 24th. Then you get the bye, Bama, Texas, Tennessee. I'm just not so sure how you bring all these guys in. Maybe I guess Cignetti did it. It just seems like a lot. And for a guy like Lane Kiffin, for all his praise of what he can do, he still hasn't proven it on the field. I want to see him make the right call, have the right, make the right decision, and get it to. He hasn't won any championships. He hasn't. I don't know. Maybe it's going to work. Jimmy keeps saying it's going to work. The amount of money they spent on this team, it has to work. But I'm just not so sure. You're gonna have to prove it to me. I originally was going to bet under 8.5, but I decided just to stay away from it, just based on how much talent they are bringing in.
We got about a minute. What did y'all think about Sam Leavitt at Arizona State? A couple of years there, last year battling injuries, but had a rough go of it at Mississippi State last year. Kind of inconsistent, but he had a great receiver in Jordan Tyson that he found a little bit. What did y'all think about Leavitt as a quarterback there?
I'll just say real quick, I thought he was fantastic the previous year. Injuries happen. If he's healthy, he should be fine.
My concern with Sam Leavitt is obviously he kind of made his name in 2024, and he had Cam Scattaboo on that team, and Scattaboo made his job easier. He's a big-time productive player, so you wonder who is Sam Leavitt without Cam Scattaboo? I think that's a fair question. And then you have the Liz Frank, again, injury concern there as well. But I still think he's got some talented. When he's healthy, he can run the ball too. And you love to have that dimension. So he's kind of the wild card, his health and his level of play. Is he a championship quality quarterback?
For Paul Stone, Chris Massero, Jimmy Ott, I'm Max Gocher here from Circa for Ultimate Contest Weekend. We'll be back tomorrow here from Circa. Paul and Chris will join us with a whole lot of guests as well. This is Live at Lunch. Hunt is up next on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.